had sit-down meetings with them. Like, someone's got to develop as a leader and kind of earn the trust of these guys and make the guys follow you. And, you know, I didn't get to be around him as much as AA did, but he said, you know, I think a lot of them did that. You know, that's big for us. And you can see it out here. They do, from what I can tell, they feel more comfortable speaking up, holding guys accountable, pressing the tempo and stuff like that. And that's what we need out of those guys. I did a great camp. You know, I mean, you know, they did a great job recruiting some receivers, and then, you know, only 2 of the 4 are out here. But the 2 that are out here are doing a lot of good things. He's been excellent. You know, to be honest with you, I thought he'd be a little more raw than he is coming out, but he's been a pleasant surprise for us as far as just how far along he is, the amount of plays he's making. He's doing some great things, and so's Big Drake. You know what I mean? And those 2, like I said, they obviously did a good job recruiting those guys and signed great players. And those guys, you know, coming into that room, that's a tough room to enter just because you got some dominant personalities in there, and you know, you just got some great competitors. And so to step into that room, to be honest with you, you're either going to kind of turn into a dude or you're going to be out of there. You know, that's just the room you're stepping into. And those 2 guys have done a great job stepping in, making plays, and just adapting to the room and adapting to the culture of that room.
I know Clay has talked a lot about fostering competition, especially even at quarterback. What have you seen that bring out in a guy like JT, who a year ago was the starter for Learning?
You know, I think competition makes everyone better, and you know, because you got to push yourself, and there's no days off if you're battling, and that's what I think that's what he's talking about. Why you foster competition, and especially stepping into a new system. Everyone's coming on an equal playing field, so it's going to make you either play well or someone else going to pass you up. And so that's the goal of competition always, and I think it makes all of us better, and regardless of who ends up playing, like I said, they're going to be better because they had to compete all day, you know, every day all spring, every day all camp, you know, and so that's what we are.
Can you go all the way through and not know until the Friday before the Fresno?
I don't think you go that far. You can let them compete for a while though, and you know, we're 4 practices in, and so that's the thing is when you've only got 4 practices, you know, you have a limited amount of film to go on, but we got to figure out who's playing best or who we think is going to be playing best come whatever August 31st, whatever day that first game is, and obviously you're going to have to make a decision who the guy is before that point, but I think you have to get closer to that point to see who's playing the best at that time and who gives you the best chance to win the ball game.
The structure, the mixing and matching of quarterbacks with receivers. How do you?
I try to just give them equal reps. You know what I'm saying? Just divide the reps equally amongst the 4, and whether it be team, you know, each day one-on-one, we have a separate one-on-one and a separate inside, and so 2 guys go to one-on-one, 2 guys go to inside, then we flip the next day, and then, you know, one day 2 guys will go kind of with the first receivers and 2 guys will go with the second receivers. Same thing in team. We just try to mix it up and get them reps with all of them so we can get an equal evaluation, and like I said, let them go with the 1s and the 2s and lead both units, and because to me, no matter who it is, I mean, the best quarterback's going to make either group better, and so no matter who you're in there with, it's a great opportunity to lead the unit and make the guys around you better, which is ultimately your job.
Mentally, where have you seen JT kind of take a step forward from spring to fall in this offense?
Well, I think more than anything, I think JT's. I mean, he probably had the most room to improve as far as like becoming a leader, but he's probably taking the biggest steps in that aspect because he had room to improve. You know what I'm saying? And that was one thing. That was probably what we told him the most that he needed to improve on coming out of spring was being a leader, getting that unit going. And I think AA put him in position to have opportunities to lead this summer, and he's done a nice job of it out here so far. And so that's where I think he's developed the most from spring to now.
How have you seen Caden Slovis develop since the spring to now, and what surprised you the most about him?
You know, Keaton's a special talent, and you know, the first 2 days I think he was pressing a little bit, and the other thing about Keaton was, I mean, if you look at him, he's gained, I don't know how much weight he's gained, but he's gained quite a bit of weight, just, I mean, in good weight. He's a big, strong kid, and in that summer program, he got a lot stronger. His body's still developing. He just turned 18 this summer, so, you know, he's a young kid that had room to grow, and he did grow, and so part of it, I think he's adjusting to his body, but the first couple of days he was a little bit off. The first 2 practices and the last 2 practices he's been throwing darts again, and that's the Keaton we saw all spring. And then he's got a special arm. You know, he can make some throws that a lot of people can't make. And he did a great job all summer coming in, watching film, trying to get as many reps as he could get without being on the field. You know what I mean? I thought he maximized the summer in that way. And again, he's got his arm is, when that ball comes out of his hand, it looks different, you know, and that's what it's supposed to look like. And so he's done a good job of that. Like I said, I think the first 2 practices he pressed for 1, and 2 was kind of getting used to a stronger body. And the last 2 practices he's looked really sharp, so he just got to keep that up.
Thank you. The quarterback competition has been pretty democratic so far, with everyone getting almost equal amount of reps. When do you expect that to change?
You know, I think you got to let them go at least for a week or week and a half, and at that point, hopefully, we'll kind of, if not, narrow it down to 1, but at least narrow it down to 2. You know what I'm saying? Or start to weed it out as we probably get closer to a week or 10 days in, but again, we got to get closer to the first game to see, because it's not about who's playing best on, August 1st. It's about who's playing best on August 31st. And in order to figure that out, you got to, like I said, let them compete until then. And so, obviously, I don't think you can continue to give 4 guys reps all the way till then. But I do think, like I said, you got to give them some time to let them get settled into the offense, give them an equal opportunity, let them really show what they're doing, let us see where they are, and after a couple, first scrimmage, second scrimmage, somewhere in there, kind of start to narrow it down, at least to start cutting 1 guy's reps or 2 guys' reps, and when you got a guy, you got to obviously devote reps into that guy. But we got to figure out who's going to be playing best at the end of the month, not the beginning.
With Keaton, how do you balance the advantage of protecting a red shirt? You have veteran guys versus just keeping it totally wide open. If he's whatever, that's where he belongs.
Yeah, if he's around here, I don't think you redshirt people. I mean, it seems like everyone tries to leave early anyway. So this is a different place than most places. And so obviously with quarterbacks, I think redshirts really help. But some guys are ready to play, and if you're ready to play, you're ready to play. And so I think that's our approach with all our guys. If these guys can play, we got to let them roll. And especially with the new 4-game redshirt rule, I think that helps you too. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's as big of a deal anymore, especially with 4 games, because you can kind of go into the season and you still got some time with those guys to see where they are. But I don't think the red shirt's even been considered, because you got to figure out who your first guy is. Who's your first guy, you got to go play them. And like I said, around here, it seems like guys come after that 3, so 5 seems like a marathon, I guess, to these 2 guys. But, I'm used to the 5-year plan, and these guys aren't. But again, I don't think we've even considered it, because we got to figure out, if he's your best guy, you got to put him in there. And if he's not your best guy, then you probably take the red shirt in consideration. But you got to figure out where he sits before you start considering red shirts.
Let's do one more. Clay mentioned wanting to have 8 receivers in the rotation. What opportunity is there for the guys beyond the kind of top 4 or 5 in your offense?
There's a lot of opportunities. You watch them today. The top guys couldn't even hardly make it through the end of practice. They're tired, and so as many reps as we're going to get, and as fast as we want to play, and as many routes as they're going to be running, and the distance they put on those legs, you can't just play 3 or 4 guys. You got to have 8. I mean, to be honest with you, you need 8. You need 8 that you feel really comfortable throwing in there, and if you got that, you got something special. And the good news for us is we have good depth in that room, and the culture of that room is really, really good. It breeds competition, and it makes those guys elevate the level of play. And so we got a lot of great players in there that we're excited about. But you can't just have 3 or 4. You got to have literally. I mean, you need 8, you need 10, somewhere in that range. And we feel good about it. I feel good about where we are. They're running ragged right now. As we get further along, we'll start to try to get their legs back. But he's right. I mean, you're going to need a lot of guys, and those guys, if your top guys can go, we're going to let them go. But we'll get too many reps and run too many routes for them to go every single snap. And so you're going to have guys that come in that can make plays regardless of who's, you got to expect to make plays and run your offense regardless of who's in the game. And that's why he's talking about having 8, having 10 guys that you really feel good about, throw in there and go execute.